Hello, my name is Maria Schmidt, and today our subject is the long postponed cultural standard masculinity versus femininity, the so called MAS FEM dimension that I mentioned in the last video, Jamaica 4D. I first learned the word versus in connection with boxing while I was growing up. The book Masculinity versus Femininity from Geert Hofstede is subtitled The Taboo Dimension of Culture. But first of all, let's clarify some of the constructs. What is a dichotomy? According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, it is a division into two especially mutually exclusive or contradictory groups or entities, the dichotomy between theory and practice, for example. As men and women are not mutually exclusive, let us settle for the second definition, namely something with seemingly contradictory qualities. To recap what was said about the MAS FEM dimension in the video Jamaica 4D, a high score on the masculine dimension indicates that the society will be driven by competition, achievement, and success, while the feminine dimension means that the dominant values in society are caring for others and quality of life. A feminine society is one where quality of life is the sign of success and standing out from the crowd is not admirable. With a score of 66, Germany is considered a masculine society, but social economy and consensus factors determine that it is a masculine society with feminine undertones, as Patrick Schmidt writes in his book, Understanding German and American Business Styles. Performance, Leistung in German, is highly valued and early required as the school system separates children into different types of schools at the age of 10. People rather live in order to work and draw a lot of self-esteem from their tasks. Managers are expected to be decisive and assertive. Status is often shown, especially by cars, watches, technical devices, and other perks. As far as prevailing ideas go, in a feminine society, women's liberation means that men and women should take equal shares both at home and at work. Whereas in masculine societies, women's liberation means that women should be admitted to positions hitherto occupied only by men. In the family, both fathers and mothers deal with facts and feelings. Both boys and girls are allowed to cry, but neither should fight. In a masculine society, girls cry, boys do not. Boys should fight back when attacked. Girls should not fight. In school, the average student is the norm, versus the best student is the norm. Failing in school is a minor incident, versus failing in school is a disaster. Friendliness in teachers is appreciated, versus brilliance in teachers is appreciated. Boys and girls study the same subjects, versus boys and girls study different subjects. In other words, masculine societies emphasize the difference between the genders. Now onto the work sector. Work in order to live versus live in order to work. Managers use intuition and strive for consensus versus managers are expected to be decisive and assertive. That's where the idea comes from, that Germany is a masculine society with feminine undertones. The consensus-based decision-making, among other things. There's stress on equality, solidarity, and quality of work life versus stress on equity, mutual competition, and performance. Resolution of conflicts by compromise and negotiation is pitted against resolution of conflicts by letting the best man win, whereby man stands for men and women before gendering. In politics, a welfare society is ideal. This idea is pitted against a performance society that is ideal. The needy should be helped versus the strong should be supported. A permissive society versus a corrective society. Preservation of the environment should have the highest priority, whereas maintenance of economic growth should have the highest priority. In a feminine society, the government spends a relatively large proportion of its budget on development assistance to poor countries. In a masculine society, government spends a relatively small proportion of its budget on development assistance to poor countries. Whether this can be generalized, we'll see. International conflicts should be resolved by negotiation and compromise, versus international conflicts should be resolved by a show of strength or by fighting. In a feminist society, there's a relatively large number of women in elected political positions. Again, part of the feminine undertones in Germany, I guess. Whereas in a masculine society, there's a relatively small number of women in elected political positions. As we can see, that's changing. The glass ceiling is still there. By this, you definitely know what a dichotomy is. Dichotomy thinking leads to stereotypes. But along the continuum that's between the left pole and the right pole are the shades of gray